Hey fellas, welcome to my playthrough of Growing My Grandpa. I believe the embargo gets lifted on the 14th, so that's when you guys will be seeing this, but I played it a couple days before that, so there you go. Real quick, I want to say two things. Thank you guys so much for 300 subs. It's not at 300 subs right now while I'm playing this, but I just have faith that it'll be there, so thank you guys for that. And also, I'm going to be streaming soon. I don't know when exactly. I'm thinking maybe a Monday, just because that works best for me, like a Monday afternoon. I don't know if it'll be this Monday or the next, but I'm going to be playing Cat-Powered UFO. It's not a horror game, but it does look fun, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't expect a ton of people to be there because I've never streamed before, but yeah, should be fun. Follow me on Twitch if you guys want to see some of that. But anyway, yeah, we're playing Growing My Grandpa. Let's do it. Please read. This game is designed to be played with a mouse. The input required of you is based around clicking the mouse buttons. The right mouse button will change the cursor's image and function. Only when pointing, indicated by the extended index finger, can you, the player, interact with certain menu buttons and prompts. Please click below in the pointing mode to continue. Oh, I see. So I can't grab the continue button, but I can point at it. The second cursor mode is indicated by the cursor's image, featuring a hand extending all fingers. This mode concerns interacting with objects inside the world, mainly picking up an object and moving it into another position. Shut up, phone. To continue, please pick up the piece of trash on the right and place it in the trash can on the left. Remember, the right mouse button will change the cursor's mode, but when holding something, the mode cannot be changed until the cursor is not holding something. So for example, I could pick this up. Oh, and I can't put it down until I drop it in the trash. That's it. There will be many situations in Growing My Grandpa that will require to pick things up, place things, grab things, or give things. Don't be afraid to experiment and keep an open mind about using your hand. Gross. Please click the button below to continue. Remember menu buttons, blah, blah, blah. Index finger mode. In order to expedite the cleaning process, you can use the digits 1, 2, and 3 on your keyboard to reposition the trash can below. Try moving the can to the right of the screen, 3 on your keyboard, in order to continue. Oh. Alright. Well done. Please click the continue button to move on, and please remember menu buttons must be clicked on. Damn, Yames. What was the QA like? Were people just really confused about the index finger thing? F5 to change cursor types. No, I like the first one. I don't remember which one the first one was. I think it's this one. By default, Growing My Grandpa's display is scaled up by a factor of 2, and the shader is set at low. Okay, so that's turned off, that's high, and that's low. I'll leave it on low for now, and if it gets difficult to read, then I'll turn it off. Thus ends the tutorial. I hope you enjoy number 2 in Yames' Secret Games, Growing My Grandpa. Infinite thanks to my patrons for believing in me and my work. Yames. I believe in you, Yames. You haven't let me down yet. Begin. And, Growing My Grandpa is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be weird. I excused Adrienne during music class today and spoke with her about her recent string of demerits. It was our first time meeting outside of our quarterly evaluations, and I believe it went well. I can certainly understand Mr. Richardson's classroom observations concerning Adrienne's emotional state. She was, of course, intensely shy when we first met. As I understand it, she is similarly withdrawn in her classroom activities and only speaks or acts when she absolutely must. Some things she simply will not do. Instead of participating in mandatory group activities, she will sit alone and accept that she will receive a demerit. Before the meeting, I read Mrs. Richardson's parent-teacher report, which allowed me to estimate some about Adrienne's home life. The parents are well-educated and come from a prestigious background, but they lack time to properly nurture Adrienne. She is often alone, and when she is not, the parents seem to not understand the importance of warmth and affirmation when dealing with someone so young. Having two parents of this reserved and icy temperament exacts an inhibition in a child. The child's imagination is subdued, but only ostensibly, for it eventually finds its way into regular life. I surmised that I would be able to reach out to Adrian by way of make-believe. Oh boy. How are you liking your new house? You told me you used to live close by, but it still can be a big adjustment. A new room, a new school. The basement. I like that. The basement? Yeah, well, there's a lot of cool stuff. Mom and Dad sent me down there. Your mom and dad made you go? Yeah, but there's lots of cool stuff. Cool stuff. Well, that's not why they sent me down there, though. Why did they send you down there? Fighting. They were fighting. Shouting. I came in to help and they shouted at me. They said, go clean up downstairs. So I went. That sounds tough. Do they fight a lot? No. Well, they, it's alright, Adrian, I believe is how you pronounce that. Maybe you can tell me more about the basement instead. Okay, well, it was weird at first, the stuff down there, but cool. I found something living, sort of. That's very interesting, Adrian. Please tell me more. By indulging her in her fantasies and stories, I was to glean more of an understanding of Adrian's anxiety surrounding her home and parents. The symbols of Adrian's story seem to carry their own traumatic weight, and her exploration of the basement may very well be a vehicle for the conveyance of her anxiety. Whatever might come of our next meeting, whether she will engage in similar make-believe, I will set down her story here. Adrian's story begins with her delving into the basement with a trash receptacle and the goal of cleaning up. She discovered one of the walls was covered in plastic bags. She went to investigate, intent on tearing away whatever they covered. Whoa, Yames. This is next level. Trash bags. Oh my god, are those like centipedes? Can I, I can grab... I can grab them and throw them away. Upon removing the plastic trash bags from the wall, she noticed their interior lining was covered in glass. Like a window, I offered. No, she said, like a mirror. Reflecting inward towards the animal they covered, I gently asked her what animal exactly this was. Here is where the material reality of the story took a turn for the explicitly fantastic and imaginary. Upon her discovery of it, at her gaze, it grew or extended, its shaggy-haired self. Hair like fur, like a dog, I offered. No, she said. Not the fur of a dog nor the hair on her head. It grew out towards her, the animal's hair, reaching out. It was hard, standing almost straight, like the hair on a brush. A bristle, I offered. Yes, she said. She was very afraid at first, but then very curious. I asked her what else was in the room. More things hidden away, she said. Things of Grandpa's as well. First, she found a hidden passage under the stairs. Inside were strange dolls, magic objects, naked, faceless creatures. Figures. I heard these cryptic utterances and merely nodded. In order to keep the game of make-believe going, I only pressed for details where I thought necessary. The faceless dolls could be a simple metaphor for the anonymity she feels in her own home. The hidden passage? I am unsure what to make of that. The revealing of the concealed seems to be thematic in her fantasy. The door under the stairs is but one example. And I grab. Alright, so we don't know what this is at all. Let's look around, I guess. Trash pile. I don't see any trash here. What's this? Oh, whoa. I didn't even see that, really. Once she removed the panel and found the magical hidden passage, she was very specific about what she took. She found a magic book, a magic doll, a photo of her late grandpa, and magic glue. Oh, fuck, okay. I'm gonna search the closet first. I'm a clean closet. Aha! This is why we clean before we search. All clean. This space will not be dirty again until next week. Okay. Mr. What? Photo of your late grandfather. Mr. RHD? Read now. Mr. PhD. On the reverse side of the photograph, there is more text. Good luck on your trip to the Urals? Stay warm. I wish I wasn't dumb and knew what that was. Ah, it must be some European stuff. Eurasian steppe shamanism and the fusiform iris? An interdisciplinary study in sympathetic magic. A dissertation. Jacob Hart. Papers crudely bound together to form a book. The impetus of this research was the recognition of a particular pattern in fragments of documents relating to magic and magico-religious practices. Numerous sources were drawn from: commentaries on laws relating to the banning of sorcery and necromancy, compilations of folk charms relating to love spells, hagiographs of saints and their encounters with devils. The list spans many centuries and a great distance, from the Levant to the Khazar Cognate to the border of the modern nation-states of Russia and Kazakhstan today. From this paper trail arose a consistent account about a certain form of magic relating to the binding of demons to a sorcerer's will. A demon called the Heaven of Needles, or the Angel of Needles, was known to be kept best by shamanic keepers or wards who suffer from face blindness. Prosopagnosia? Prosopagnosia? I know what it is, but Yames, pronounce it for me in the comment section, please. Whether by birth or through developmental causes like a stroke or head injury. It was known to be extremely effective, but terribly dangerous. So much so that it became outlawed several times and was generally a popular scapegoat relating to unexpected death. This nexus of magico-religious meaning-making, sorcery regarding human-related desires, and the history of science, and history and science, not of, but and, of neurological disorders related to the fusiform gyrus, is where the subject of this dissertation will reside. I will outline further and then analyze the historical sources I mentioned previously. Then I will go into the neurology of mystic and magico-religious experiences. After that, I will detail my ongoing correspondence with a resident of the Ural Mountain region who is an expert folklorist and keeper of traditions he claims have been passed down through his extended family for generations. All-purpose glue. What? There's no lore with this glue? 1 out of 10. I guess I'll take the doll. A slouching doll. Its material is rough and coarse. Continue. I interrupted to ask what she did with these magical, mysterious materials. Grow Grandpa, she explained plainly, and then without missing a beat, she continued on with her story. Feeling this was a potent symbol, I stopped her again to ask what she meant. Somewhat puzzled, I did not understand immediately. She explained slowly. Grandpa lives in the cage in the other room, the cage behind the door. They grew people in the cage. Alright, call the police, dude. Right? Like, I don't know. I would have. As interested as I am in what's going on here, there's no way. A hastily written note. Read now. I have repeatedly called your homes to no avail, and so I am forced to leave this here for you all. I found William sitting in the corner of the enclosure area, seeming severely concussed. Whiskers was gone, in none of its usual hiding places. I immediately suspected the worst. The project thus must be suspended for now. I am leaving up the usual mirrored coverings we use to keep the anthropodic void sealed. I have done my best to lock up everything on such short notice. It is a hasty fix, but it will require some time to find a more permanent remedy. I am honestly hoping you do not find this note, as I intend to lock the house down too. I intend to race off to you to retrieve your lockbox keys. Do not worry about William's key. It, and the rest of his equipment, is almost certainly deep within Whiskers now. I pray you do not enter this room, no matter how it may appear. William cannot be helped, and is only being kept alive as a means of continuing predation on the rest of us. I will say once again, no matter what state you may encounter William in, he cannot be helped. I have compassion for the young man, but I found on his person several photos of his late sister, which would imply certain risks he knew he was taking. Our extant research materials have now become possible liabilities, either criminal or professional in nature, so I have stashed them away. I believe I let you all know how I might do this if we were ever to experience an event such as this. I hope you all remember what I told you. So long, then. Dr. H. Alright, let's go back. What's over here? The darkness of the shadowy corner unnerves you. You cannot explore here without some form of light. Got it. Okay, so it kicks us out. Can I grab these? Oh man, these are just notes. A note on an experiment. Read now. For the sake of university policy and the health of any future career you hope to have, you will abide by the non-disclosure contract you have signed. 2. Do not break the anthropodic vacuum without my prior consultation and approval. 3. Any anthropodic forms brought into the enclosure area must not be left unattended. When not in dormancy, the sample will attempt to take anthropodic shells. Please see shell notes for more on that. What the fuck am I getting myself into here? I mean, I guess I'm gonna grow a grandpa, right? 4. The sample's exposure to some of our neuronal activity is unavoidable. However, the speed at which its desirous yield is produced can be dampened by several precautions regarding libidinal and emotional urges. Keep conversation not related to lab work to a minimum. If you begin to suspect you are developing attachments to your colleagues, contact me as soon as possible. Scary. Ritual behavior with the sample, trading, bargaining, will result in dismissal from the project. The precise mechanism of the exchange of symbols and gifts required for a requested desirous yield is not known, and even then anecdotal accounts of success are illegible, end in violent death. Yeah, so don't fuck around, basically. Regarding growth cycles, every time Whiskers regenerates and leaves dormancy, it is to be logged as a new propagation. The sample's bodily existence cannot be illegible, i.e., a part cannot be cut from the whole, so there can only be one living propagation. Propagations are to be terminated after 5 weeks, and we are on week 1. Any further development puts us at risk. Termination procedures will be posted and followed with extreme care. With all of that out of the way, I want to welcome you to the project. I look forward to working with you, Dr. Hart. Alright, so we going in there? When do I save? Beyond the door, in the room, The cage was hidden, concealed in another cloak of inward-facing mirrors. 3D. A hidden cage lined with mirrors. It is strange, almost poetic. The elaborate fantasy of self-reflection, concealment, captivity. Tarp. Any trash for me to pick up here? Oh, I'm removing the stitching, or I guess the tape, right? At the cage, she finally cast her spell. But it was confusing, she confided, at first. She took the magic doll, the magic glue, and the photo of her grandpa, and she combined them, and she wished very hard. I can only assume in this fantasy that next her wish would come true. And what child's story would it not? Grandpa? Doll. Now we're going to glue them together. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. She put Grandpa in the cage, assuming that was part of the ritual. She was not clear on how it worked. What precise instructions she could glean from her grandfather's magic book was complicated by her reading comprehension. She wished with all her heart, and then she told me she waited a while for something, anything to happen. And after that time, she began to cry. I cried really hard, she said. I wanted Grandpa to be back. I wanted my parents to stop being so mean. And it hurt me. It heard me wish for Grandpa to come back, for my parents to be different. I could feel it through the walls, and it felt me through the air. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she said. By this time, lunch was almost over. I said goodbye to Adrian, and she left to rejoin her class. I was left to consider our conversation. I believe the storytelling strategy I've employed was not unfruitful, but I must probe deeper if I can. Yeah, no, I would have just called the police. Although I can be sure of nothing I interpret, the impressions I get may begin to help me get an idea of the right questions to ask. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to certain topics or keywords you can discuss with Grandpa. You have gained the conversation topic wish. Consider discussing this when Grandpa emerges. You have also gained the following keyword. Shell. Week 2. Jesus Christ, man. What am I doing? It's nutty, right? I met again with Adrian in order to address her emotional outbursts in the past few weeks. It is our second time meeting, and while it is standard practice to have multiple sessions with a troubled student, as I assemble a report for the counseling department, I could not help but think, as we sat down in my office, that Adrian already seemed to show a remarkable change in self-esteem and confidence, and perhaps my and Mrs. Richardson's estimation of her as emotionally disturbed was erroneous. No! Call CPS. The paralyzing shyness and withdrawn attitude Adrian possessed last week was not entirely diminished, but she seemed to hold herself differently this week. However, this only lasted as long as our conversation pertained to initial introductory pleasantries. When I began once again asking about her parents, her feelings regarding her new school and her new home, she quickly lost what new confidence she had gathered up and withdrew again into herself. So, once again, I partook in some collaborative make-believe, but this time I was aided by the fact that I had managed to do some research into Adrian's grandfather, and I had some insight into what she might actually be finding in the basement. Now, this may be overstepping my bounds some as a school counseling caseworker, but this was all in the service of making Adrian comfortable and happy, in, 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 in any case, I was able to dig up information regarding the grandfather by inquiring at the university in town. Not that I make it a habit of sleuthing, but I had a suspicion the grandfather was a professor there, or at least some sort of researcher, due to the fact that the newly constructed laboratory on the campus I drive by every day bears his name in memorial. He was some sort of anthropologist, or linguist, or neuroscientist. I did not have to dig that deep before the scope of his work became dizzying, and I ran up against the limits of my undergraduate education. But back to the make-believe. What is your grandpa like? Is he a smart man? Not anymore, but I'm teaching him. So he's grown a good deal then. You have been feeding him well? Yeah, he's getting bigger, but he has a lot of room in his cage. He's still behind the bars? Yeah, well, he might be able to climb out eventually. There's this vent in the ceiling. Fuck. I just realized the implications of that. Well, perhaps if he climbs out, I could meet him someday. Yeah, maybe. But he's not ready to leave. He can't take care of himself. I have to feed him, pick up after him. Ah, you store the food in your lunchbox. That's nice of you to share. He can almost talk. You cannot speak with him? He doesn't have a mouth, sort of. But how do you feed him? He has a mouth on the side, on the outside, on his shell, or the stuff that is his skin. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can go through a typical day with your grandpa. Okay. I asked her to explain how exactly she goes about growing her grandpa, and Adrian began another tale. According to Adrian, in the week that had passed, much had changed in the basement. Oh boy. We still have our glue. Is this the vent she was talking about? The hairy thing that was here before is gone. Can we glue this shut? No. Your lunchbox is currently empty. Seek out food for Grandpa. Got it. Wait, I already examined this, right? Yeah. You should go see Grandpa first. Wake Grandpa. It was scary at first, she said. The way he moved. The way the doll's skin covered him. I wanted to interject. This somehow seemed inappropriate, but I kept listening. When I look at him, she continued, when I think about him, he grows and moves. It's like he's growing for me. So he's growing bigger now, I asked. Yes, she said, bigger every day. That's Grandpa? He's huge! This begins the actual growing part of growing your grandpa. Beneath the doll's burlap skin, the follicles knit together what resembles a proper person, your grandpa. You are in charge of its cognitive development and diet until it is able to sustain itself. Currently, you are observing Grandpa. Please click the arrow back button below for a brief tutorial of your duties as caretaker. Okay. Whoa. Here we fucking go. Here we can see a variety of options regarding growing your grandpa. Highlighted in red are objectives related to feeding and teaching Grandpa. Important messages regarding Grandpa's recent activity will also appear here. You will need to find it food and learning material before you can move on to the next week. Some foods will make Grandpa happy, others merely content. Some food will make Grandpa disgusted to the point of nausea. Learning material is also scattered throughout the basement. Seek out vocabulary cards intended to help teach English and basic anthropodic concept formation. The options highlighted in red are related to navigating around Grandpa's enclosure. The Go to Grandpa option will let you perform all actions directly related to Grandpa, feeding, teaching, observing, etc. Accessing the Study Corner will let you go over any documents you pick up as the weeks go by. It's a good idea to learn about the work of the people who last occupied this space. Accessing the kitchen corner will let you search for food in the old refrigerator and prepare food for Grandpa if need be. The help button will replay this tutorial. The save game button will save your current progress. You can only have one save file at a time, so if you have save data, you will be asked if it's okay to overwrite it. Exiting and relaunching the game will allow you to load your save from the main menu by clicking the continue button. Got it. More buttons may or may not appear depending on your development of Grandpa, so watch out for them. One final note. Take care to explore the basement at your leisure. However, due to the entropic nature of clutter and trash, different weeks may allow you to find things you had not previously discovered. Good luck. Interesting. I'm gonna save. Game saved. So we have to feed Grandpa. 2 acceptable foods eaten. Seek out things to feed Grandpa. Then we have to teach Grandpa by finding vocabulary cards. So basically we gotta explore. So what's the study corner here? Are these things we already read, or... Yeah, it is. Sweet, okay. Examine educational posters. Oh, fuck. A set of procedures regarding disposal/interment. What? You can examine this in detail later at the study corner. I'll read it now. The researcher will seal off the enclosure bars, ensuring minimal gas leak during later fumigating process, and then retrieve the burn barrel and place it near the enclosure. Allow at least 48 hours of time where the current growth cycle experiences no human-related stimuli. Do not enter the enclosure area, nor any part of the basement. Ideally, you will not be on the grounds at all. After 48 hours, 2 researchers will enter the basement wearing their assigned mirror mask, mirror apron, and powered air-purifying respirator. The researcher will use the vent system to fumigate the enclosure area, wait 30 minutes, and then use the fan system to ventilate the enclosure. Keep the fans running during steps 3 through 4. Re-enter the enclosure area wearing your assigned mirror masks and aprons. The organism may or may not be in complete dormancy. If it is not in full dormancy, be assured that its capacity to act against you will be greatly diminished. With your assigned powered drills, quickly remove any enclosure bars needed to access the organism. Put them aside for later reinstallation. Put the organism into the burn barrel. Incinerate the organism thoroughly. Wait for any smoke to be properly cleaned by the fan system. Turn off the fans. One researcher will retrieve the nucleus from the ash and place it in the mirror box. The other researcher will sift through the ash and place any other substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside of the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. The code is 323245. The researchers will fill out a termination form and leave it for Dr. Hart. 323245. I'm writing it down. 323245. Cool. And you have gained the conversation topic, biohazard bin. Nice. Okay. Oh, is that food? It just looks like chains, but maybe he likes metal. All clean. Really? There's like a bunch of stuff here. What's this? Cashews. It looks edible. Grandpa might like this. Yeah, I think he will. An account of an acquisition. I'll read it now. It was said to pass from one family of steppe people to another, but pressed on its ultimate origin, legible, somewhere to the south, coiled in a bowl, covered in incantations, buried upside down by a graveyard, a common late antiquity demon trap. The keeper, an elderly man in failing health, was ready to expound on and on about the dangers of the organism, but when I asked more pointed questions about the history of its acquisition, I was given curt responses that had a way of circling back to vague warnings. Man, I wonder why. Maybe it's because messing with it will definitely fuck things up. As it is doing, I guess. Or as it has done, really. Come on, there's gotta be something in here. What? For real? What are these? Can I pick these up? No, it's just trash. All clean. You remove the taped down fabric to reveal the cabinet's wooden bottom. Ooh. Which note? I'll do this one. A note regarding... Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna write... I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of codes, so I'm gonna write down bio next to that last code so we just don't mix them up. A note regarding cleanup procedures. Wait, I didn't read it. Fuck. It's weird that it's right-click instead of left-click to read. Notation regarding sample exoskeletons. Research participants, please take note. Each growth from a cycle does not require a shell, but you may find the sample will often try and seize on something somewhat flexible. It can grow into, along with any desirous yield it may generate. Or else it will move from one shell to the next as it outgrows them. In the small amount of time I have spent with it in preparation, I have noticed it tends towards human forms. However, we should keep a tight lid on the anthropodic steel in order to be cautious before we begin to experiment with exposing it long-term to anthropoid stimuli. I see. Let me look over that last document. I believe it's this one. To my colleagues, I don't mean to be overly severe in tone, but Dr. Hart's work is very important, and the material we are working with is potentially very dangerous. I will be handing out a copy of this note as a reminder to everyone. I am not trying to single any particular person out. We all have misconceptions about the nature of this project from time to time. With that out of the way, here are some things to keep in mind. 1. The active growth must be thoroughly terminated via the correct procedures at the very least 4 weeks after dormancy is interrupted. It doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done regarding tests or procedures or how much the anthropodic vacuum has been disrupted. We are not ready to go beyond 4 weeks at this point. A step-by-step guide to termination has been posted by the enclosure wall. Please, please, please do not place the educational posters over this posting. 2. Do not disrupt the anthropodic vacuum over Dr. Hart's prior consultation and approval. In case of any emergency where the vacuum is disrupted, put on your equipment and begin the lockdown procedure. Make an extensive note of when and how the breach occurred. If you find the habitat empty, page Dr. Hart immediately, but do not attempt to speak with anyone else. This thing can get very smart, I'm sure you're all well aware, from the stories we heard on our acquisition trip. The greatest caution should be used when dealing with a potential aggressive mimicry scenario. Please seek me out if you have any more questions, William. This thing can become smart enough that it can mimic you? Alright. Medical imaging device? Alright, something tells me this isn't necessary yet. Let's go find some food. Go to the kitchen corner. Search upper drawer. Lettuce. Got it. Lower fridge. Banana. Brown banana. Damn. Prepare food. A banana. Unappealing item. I don't have that, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to save since we did all that, and I'm gonna go explore the basement. Examine. Trash. Trash pile. I have to remember that I can actually move this trash can. That's a lot of trash, Yames. There we go. Linguistics module. Vocabulary card. Hello. Teach Grandpa this word to read the notes of past educators. Module administrator will record details on opposite side. So this is the second card. Corroded battery. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however, so we could probably prepare this in the kitchen then. Bulbous growth. Something appears to be growing from the wall. You take a closer look. A pulsating sac. The slimy membrane that is its skin seems to contain something. It might be able to be opened with a blade. Alright, so we're on the lookout for a Moonveil katana. The darkness of the shadowy corner unnerves you. You cannot explore here without some form of light. Alright, let's go the other way. Cabinets. Examine. Slouching under the weight of rot and refuse. God damn it. There's so much trash in this game. This is busy work. Blueberries. It's edible. I hate that, by the way. That, like, humming sound. It's a bit too loud. Hate it. Top drawer. Fuck me. Ugh. This is a huge trash can we got. That looks like a heart. Oh, it's fucking dolls. Before we began, we had us all cover our faces completely. An earthenware pot was illegible, and on the inside, as we stole brief glances at it, we could see the interior was inlaid with mirrors. The illegible gave it small pieces of dough, spoiled food, chicken feed, keeping it content. The keeper gestured towards the small bag where the food composted and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. I asked if the rotting food was enough to sustain it, how it might get nutrients from any of this. The keeper regarded me seriously and said it did not matter what it was fed. The act of feeding itself was what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act, however. He then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it. All clean. Alright, so we gotta be careful with feeding it meat, then. Is what I understand here. Alright, we need a key. Examine. Something about that painting looks strange. Don't tell me. Oh, look at that. I didn't even see that. I was just kind of mashing. A folder full of radiographic images. You can examine this in detail later at the study corner. So this is what we put under the medical device. Great. More trash. Fiberglass insulation. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. Fucking fiberglass insulation. Have any of you ever had to deal with fiberglass insulation? It is the absolute worst thing I can think of that exists. Oh, great. A simple paper doll. This might be useful in the construction of magic symbols. Okay. The waste here smells particularly strong. We can't do anything else. We do have a code. We don't know where to use it, though. So let's go to the study corner and check out these images. You slip the radiographic images you found onto the machine's display. Power. Oh, fuck. Propagation number 21. Day 19 after dormancy. Anthropodic vacuum broken. Yes. Broken? Yes. Term at 21 days. Notes in detail. God damn it, Yames, you writer. Intriguing results with regard to the mimic hypothesis. A participant entered a sealed chamber adjacent to Whiskers, growth cycle number 21, which had been freed from the anthropomorphic vacuum. constructed quite economically from plastic and broken mirrors. The first propagation's original earthenware vacuum was shattered during the move-in. Between the two, there was a semi-opaque glass panel that allowed observation both ways. The human participant was asked to think of someone in the popular consciousness, fictional or no, and cogitate on their image, personality, face if possible, voice if possible, etc. Our participant chose Jesus of Nazareth, and with weekly repeated exposures to the participant's imaginings, propagation number 21 began forming what resembled an anthropoid Nazarene in the fold of its spines. Previous human-oriented tests have always bore out a result that Whiskers would form an anthropoid team member, be it me or Dr. Hart or Gerald, and we assumed it was merely mimicking one of us. Dr. Hart has always contended that desirous yield, or the anthropoid reproduction Whiskers creates when in contact with human beings, has always been based on the conception and relation to the person through someone else. So basically, through, I guess, the reading of the person's mind, right? Or I guess their consciousness. So this thing has been... So it's not necessarily copying the person in front of it, but copying a person in the person's memory? With this framework, the desirous yield is not actually a replica of a person, or if it is only a replica of the fiction of a person generated in the mind of another. Yeah, so basically, it's not you, it's the person you're thinking about. This desirous yield was not Jesus Christ, but the participant's image of Jesus assembled from their religious upbringing, religious artwork, depictions in popular culture, etc. This radiograph was taken right before the destruction of the growth cycle, while Whiskers was rendered unconscious via fumigation. So Whiskers is what they're calling the, like, weird creature thing. It seems like every successive propagation in the stem cells in the organism work a little faster. But I'm not paranoid. It's technically deathless. Yes, but we're burning up whatever knowledge it's gained when we incinerate it. I don't believe in magic just yet. Alright, Yames. These are a lot of notes. Propagation number 2, day 0 after dormancy. The vacuum was broken at 6 days. We have taken to calling it Whiskers, though of course some have interpreted it as hair or needles or quills, but Whiskers is more accurate, as the needles are really more like suprasensory follicles or spines. The nerve nets distributed throughout the morphology of these spines resemble those of genus Hydra, but have myelin sheaths that are functionally the same as vertebrae. As we can see in the X-ray, each spine is laden with dense optical arrangements similar to compound eyes. The Hydra connection is assuredly worth investigating with regard to the organism's capacity for regeneration and anecdotal deathlessness. It certainly is a robust enough creature to inspire marvel that is not untinged with fear. Propagation 14. Day 14 after dormancy. Vacuum broken? No. Term at 16 days. Exposure to mammalian forms. Part of a series of zoomorphic influences led to further understanding of the propagation's ability to stimulate the somatic stem cells that constitute fully developed animals. I write simulate in the previous statement because examining the tissue of each propagation leads me to believe its amazing capacity for accelerated growth of vastly different forms comes from its cell-level mutability. And yet, at no time does it function as the thing it becomes, except in the sense that it mimics it. That is to say, when Whiskers is removed from dormancy and replicates a mimic's morphology, it is not seeing from the rabbit's eyes, nor smelling from the rabbit's nose, but pretending that it does, and doing a very good job of it. scary. Propagation number 5, day 10 after dormancy. Vacuum broken? No. The radiograph was taken at or around growth cycle number 4. The strange thing about it was that the subject of the image was found nowhere near the enclosure. It's almost like a piece of whiskers fell off and scurried into the corner. I feel like we've learned a lot since then, but at the time, I remember speaking about the morphology being weird. Not really even resembling any extant zoomorphic structure. Besides, maybe a cuttlefish. Then I happened to open the thing up. Inside were all these little dead amoeba-like things. But they all sort of looked like they had faces. Faces that were just barely there. After I took the radiograph, I gathered it up and went to go through it in the biohazard bin. As I walked by the bars of the enclosure, I could hear Whiskers suddenly going wild, flopping around and grunting excitedly. Could it have smelled the cuttlefish thing? Would it eat its own production? I guess it's technically flesh. This is beyond the scope of the project, but it could be that without the stimulus of an active brain, or more specifically, a healthy and active brain capable of face recognition and theory of mind, Whiskers begins to pull whatever it can from the limited data available to it. Again, this is not our focus at this time, but I left a note for Dr. Hart just in case he wanted to take a look. Okay. Jesus Christ. We have a lot of lore. But let's go to the kitchen. Prepare food. So we could give it a banana with a battery. We could give it a banana battery. Why not just give it what we have? I guess because we don't want to waste good food all the time unless we need it. And between battery and fiberglass insulation, I think fiberglass is definitely worse, right? At least you could, at least with a battery, you could kind of like assume it's citric-y, you know? It's like, oh, it's a lemon. Grandpa, it's lemon. The insulation is concealed in the browning banana flesh. What happened to, my whatchamacallit? Didn't I have some nuts? Alright, let's go to Grandpa. Wait, actually, we need to find 2 words. I only have hello, right? I have cashews, battery, concealed insulation. Oh, man, maybe we give him, like, pills or something? Let's save. But I think we haven't found everything just yet. And the reason I say that is because... Fuck, that is loud. I hate that. We can technically open this bottom drawer, right? But we need a key. Everything that I can think of is clean, though. I guess this one isn't. It doesn't say all clean. I guess it is clean, though. Oh, I didn't even see this one. So there was nothing in here. So we need to find a light bulb or... I don't know. Let's save. And let's go to Grandpa. And let's observe it. You examine Grandpa, noting its movements, respiration, and general mood. Is he sitting on the chair? He looks like a snake thing. Grandpa seems sort of sluggish and bored. You get the feeling it may be more content and readily cooperative once fed and taught a word or two. Okay. Let's attempt to communicate, no response. Let's feed Grandpa. Would you like to view a tutorial before you begin? You will not be prompted again. Sure. This brief tutorial will go over the basics of feeding Grandpa via induction of your unprotected Via induction of your unprotected insula. Grandpa has simulated the production of tooth enamel to mimic a human mouth. It will need to be fed through this in order to properly learn and grow. First, you will need to select an item from the lunchbox. The contents of the lunchbox will be displayed. Select an item. Doing so will fill your hand with this item. Know that any food can be put back into the lunchbox by clicking on the lunchbox with a full hand. Before Grandpa can be fed, it must judge the food by smell. Hover your hand above Grandpa's olfactory bulbs. If Grandpa is pleased, it will allow you to feed it. Most foods Grandpa will accept. However, getting Grandpa to consume other things requires some culinary deception. When Grandpa is willing to be fed, hover your hand over its mouth and click. Grandpa will then consume the food. Good luck on feeding Grandpa. Alright, let's feed him. You approach the small window or something like... Ugh. Click on Grandpa's nostrils. If Grandpa is enticed by the smell, click on Grandpa's mouth to feed it. Left of its mouth. Where is its nostrils? Is it smelling it? I don't know where its nostrils are. So he couldn't detect the food, so now he eats it. Although quickly consumed, the meal seems to be causing some indigestion. And with a sudden lurch, Grandpa empties its stomach onto the floor. The contents pull together in front of the cage. God damn it, so I didn't even feed him. Alright, do you want, blueberries? Grandpa finds this palatable. The meal appears to have been sufficient. So did we feed him? You step away from the window set in the bars. And Grandpa silently slides back to its corner. Feeding summary. 1 digestible food, 1 other. So I have to feed it again. Grandpa recently emptied its stomach. Fuck, this is some Tamagotchi shit. I'll feed it again. Examine stomach contents. Ooh. This might help you explore some of the basement. So you want to do stuff like that. Alright, let's teach them. Would you like to view the tutorial before you start? You will not be prompted again. Sure. The vocabulary word you picked will appear in the top left corner. In the bottom right corner will be a pentagon that is divided up into 8 sections. A section of the pentagon will be highlighted briefly. A notification sound will play, and soon another section will be highlighted. You will control a small round icon that sits above the pentagon by using your mouse. The ball is constrained to the limits of the pentagon. The goal is to keep your icon over the highlighted area and move it as the area changes sections around the pentagon. When you hold left-click above the correct highlighted area, the icon will start to vibrate along with the simulated vocal cords, and the current letter of your word will begin to turn red. Keep holding over the highlighted section and adjust your icon as it changes place. Soon the letter will become fully red. After every letter becomes red, Grandpa will proudly pronounce the word to you, and it will be considered learned. Teaching Grandpa these words will accelerate its cognitive development and lead to further breakthroughs in general intelligence. Teach word hello? Yeah. I can't say I really understood the minigame, though. Dude. My mouse is going outside of, And wait, am I doing this right? Hold down right mouse button if you wish to end lesson early. I'm just not... I don't know if I'm doing this right. I just have to keep it in the red, right? Oh, I see. I can't do the right ones, or I'll click. Like, these right ones will make me click outside of my game window. Deep within Grandpa, strange membranes phonate confidently. Hello. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module card and the notes there written by administrators of the past. Hello. Part of Vocabulary and Vocalization Module A2, Conversational Basics. General pronunciation comments. Sloppy articulation. Module comments, see below. We are already encountering some difficulty as Whisker's subjectivity is so much determined by a diverse and dynamic array of influences. It attempts to mimic the thoughts and desires it passively intercepts, and these imitations go on to structure the basis of its identity. Only later in Whisker's growth cycle does it begin to form an identity, or identities, that are coherent and capable of resembling a sane, rational human being when engaged in conversation. One must imagine how hard it would be to converse with someone who is not yet oriented in one particular way towards who or how they are, because they might have 20 different honest answers to those questions, all of them mixed and muddled together. Because of this, we have stated that the basics of conversation, greetings, partings, identifying one another, forming questions, etc., etc. It is fortunate Whisker's current growth, number 19 I believe, has developed a mostly accurate human mouth simulation. Hello was a bit of a challenge in the previous growth, as it had failed to develop an adequate organ to act as a human tongue. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Alright, I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna go use that key now. Which I think... yeah, it's over here. You try the safe's lock with the key found, and it props open. Nice, okay. A photo of your mother as a young woman. Woman. The recognition of this face kicks off a cascade of emotion and meaning deep within your psyche. Ah, that's not good for us, is it? Why can't we click these? I don't think there's anything else we can do with that. But now that we have our mother in our brain, it's kind of bad for us, isn't it? Let's go to Grandpa. No response. Observe. Sluggish and bored. Alright, let's feed Grandpa again. I'm not going to feed him any batteries. I'm going to just feed him some lettuce. So this will satisfy it. I think that's fine with me. The meal appears to have been sufficient. You step away from the window set in the bars. Grandpa grunts in appreciation and locomotes towards its favorite corner. So it's at its favorite corner now, is it? No response to anything. We don't have any new words. We can't really do much else here. We could make it spit out again by putting the batteries and the cashews together. Well, actually, we can't do that. We need something else. Dude, what can we do? Can I use the key to cut open this thing? No, I guess we don't have anything for it. Dude, I swear there has to be something here, like... It's the only thing that says it's not completed. And I can't grab anything else here. What else can I do here? Oh, I see. Damn. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. But what can I do with this? Do I give it to Grandpa? I'm gonna save before I do it. Offer Mother Doll. Grandpa doesn't appear to be interested at the moment. If I give it a battery... Oh. It doesn't want it. I already searched through these, right? Oh, what the fuck? How did I miss that one? That's a lot of stuff in here. Grandpa! Now we can teach him. Alright, let me look through these. So we did 1, 2, and 3. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna save, because now we can actually finish the week, I guess. Let's teach Grandpa... Grandpa. Nice. His membranes phonate confidently. Grandpa. Having completed the lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module card, and the notes there are plentiful. Okay, we have done several sessions of what we are calling familial relation simulation. I and a co-researcher sit in chairs opposite the enclosure. We are wearing the usual masks, and we begin to act out a scene, mostly through improvisation, that might roughly resemble a kitchen table conversation between an immediate family. Repeated trials would reveal although our simulated conversation was purposefully vague and unspecific regarding persons and identities, we would only address each other as brother, father, sister, etc., etc. It soon became apparent that the encoded information and associations we unconsciously drawn upon when hearing and speaking these words was being picked up on by Whiskers and its psi-type field of reception/interpretation of brain/mind events/semantic content. My co-researcher William noticed this in a simulation where Whiskers was given a role as a sister and he as a brother. I was the father. Whiskers began responding to certain prompts with unusual specificity, as well as a general pattern and timbre of speech that continued with unusual consistency. As soon as the simulation ended and we left the enclosure area, William let me know that Whiskers was almost certainly drawing from encoded memories of his late sister. Mapping out exactly what regions and centers of neural activity are intercepted by the psi-type field will take extensive neuroimaging that we do not have at this site currently. We only have less precise portable equipment. However, our experiences so far are eerily in line with folk knowledge and folk explanations regarding the being's access to desires, and we can begin to infer it has access to certain portions of the limbic system and the ventral temporal cortex. So, different areas of its brain? You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. Alright, let's save, and now let's show him Mama. Grandpa accedes to your request. It approaches the bars and begins to unknit its skin. The inner Grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. It may be fruitful to speak with it if it can respond. That's my grandpa? Ask about Wish, ask about Grandpa's shell, ask about the biohazard bin, goodbye. With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts through its ill-formed lips. Mother, will father. New lives out of the air. The dark, spiny filaments that make up the majority of Grandpa's body begin to oscillate rapidly. The air behind your eyes, I can taste it. Okay, let's ask about the shell. With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts through its ill-formed lips. Skin. My body. All human skin around me. Give more. Give more to fit. Grow more to fit. Okay. Let's ask about the biohazard bin. With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts through its ill-formed lips. However, it fails to produce more than a wet and frustrated sputtering noise. Alright, so we can't ask him about that yet. Goodbye, Grandpa. And let's offer the mother doll. Oh, he doesn't care about it yet. Grandpa appears content and ready to cooperate. But I mean, we didn't really get anything from what we asked. We can end the week now, I see. Let me go back real quick. I want to see some stuff. We need a knife. And it doesn't seem like we can check anything else at the moment, so I guess we can be done for this week. End week. Would you like to end the week? Yes. Weekly summary. Let me drink some water, dude. At this rate, this is going to be like a 4-hour game. Food acquired. Documents acquired. That looks like all of them to me. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Language. Week 3? Wasn't that week 1? Oh boy, alright. Mrs. Richards approached me the other day in order to remark on Adrian's development. She noted how much more at ease she appeared when called upon in class, or when asked to participate in group exercises. I hate those. I told her I had seen this change happening as well, and that as much as I would like to take credit for it, I can only guess dimly at what might be reshaping her attitude. Mrs. Richards posited that it was perhaps Adrian's family moving into their grandfather's property that caused the change. It apparently is out in the country, in a wooded area, full of wide open space and far from the bustle and noise of the city. The grandfather, Dr. Jacob Hart, had jointly purchased the land with the university he was employed with and began constructing what he was intending to be a satellite campus for a burgeoning psychological anthropology program he had a hand in establishing. Only one building ever ended up being constructed after Dr. Hart died in a car accident when driving back from the property one day. Eerily, almost at the exact same time, a grad student who was assisting Dr. Hart on some sort of project at the property vanished without a trace. The property sat in disuse for years as it was tied up in legal battles between Dr. Hart's next of kin, the university, the vanished grad student's family, and the other students Dr. Hart was working with. Eventually, the case was settled out of court. Only recently did the property fall into the possession of Adrian's mother. Obviously, I was not going to relay this whole tragic story to Adrian, who, for all I know, believes her grandpa to still be living in the basement of his home. Besides, I thought, she might already know all of this. Perhaps the elaborate story she was constructing was her own way of escaping the morbid details of a life, or perhaps lives cut short by the cruel force of fate and the cynical adults who squabbled in the aftermath. I determined perhaps the storytelling she was, and continues to engage in, should not be encouraged by me, at least, not in the way I went about it before, where I made active inquiries into her strange fantasy of a semi-sentient ball of skin. When I saw Adrian, I did not bring up her grandpa or ask questions about his growth. Adrian could not stop talking about it, however. I had no choice but to weather her bizarre and enthusiastic effusions about her new best friend. Adrian, maybe we can talk about something else. I'm not sure I'm following you exactly. He's gotten so big. He has so many whiskers that come out, and I can see them move around when I think about him. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm so happy Grandpa is back. He's so much cooler than Mom and Dad. Once again, for what it's worth, I have put down the story she told me as best as I could. Adrian once again told me about growing her grandpa. Alright. They probably want us to go to see Grandpa first. Oh no. Great. Might as well take care of this first, eh? Have it all ready at the end. Potato! Life. Oops. Let's go back. Let's go to the cabinet. Really? Nothing, huh? Don't need any of that, I guess. There's another growth over here now? That can't be good, right? Indecision. That's a difficult word. Yet another pulsating sac grows in the corner of the basement. Seems like it could be easily opened with a sharp edge. We need a knife. Already looked through here. Anything new with this? No. Is this any bigger? No. that a snail? It's a kiwi! Okay. And this is still dark, so we can't go that way. Alright, let's get in here. Going to save the game, as always. I'm gonna go to the kitchen, though. We have a pear. And a strawberry. Nice. So let's prepare probably a potato and a battery. And I think that's pretty much it for that. We only have one word, right, that we could teach them. No, wait, we have life and indecision. So we have all the words and all the food we need. So let's save. Is there anything new around here? Fuck. Who's coming down here and throwing trash down? Nothing new. I'm a speedrunner now. I don't miss. Aw. So there's really nothing in any of these. I don't have anything new. Don't need to do this. Alright, let's go to... Should we teach him first or feed him first? I guess we'll feed him. You can't learn on an empty stomach, you know. Let's feed Grandpa. I have a battery for you? Yeah, he'll eat it. Although quickly consumed, the meal seems to be causing some indigestion. Yes, empty out your stomach. Now I will feed you a strawberry. And cashews. And a, half of an ancient and nearly completely dried out kiwi fruit. Let me put it back. I want to give him something he might like, you know? Do you like a... You don't like anything, Grandpa. Alright, let's get out. You step away from the window set in the bars, and Grandpa silently slides back to its corner. Alright, cool. Let's go to Grandpa and see what we got. Ooh, scissors. A bit rusty, but still perfectly usable. Alright, before we teach him anything, let's go examine stuff. We got things to blow up. You carefully make an incision into the growth with your scissors. It's now possible to take a look inside. Why? You peer into the small opening created by your incision. In the oily cavity, a powerful smell of rot arises, and many small, increate beings lay motionless and dead. However, you just barely hear the near-silent slithering of something, or maybe it's just your imagination. Are these the creepy little amoebas that we read about? What the fuck is that thing? Anthropoid remnant, a self-sufficient animal form knit together from years of ambient thoughts left to crawl around the basement. Grandpa may enjoy the flesh. I'm not gonna give him this. Little friends. I'm not gonna give him that stuff. I mean, I'll have it just to have it, but there's no way, right? Like, a powerful smell of rot arises, and many small increate beings lay motionless and dead. However, you just barely hear the near-silent slithering of something. Yeah, it's the fucking little friend. The little smiling friend. Anthropoid Remnant 2. Alright, so I think that's basically it. I was hoping we'd, like, alright, so I was hoping we'd find, like, a flashlight. You know, like, I didn't want to find flesh. I thought I would have to feed him animals or something. Alright, let's go to Grandpa and let's teach him. Or maybe we can show him the mother doll? No, he's not interested. Alright, let's teach him. Let's teach the word life. Deep within Grandpa, strange membranes phonate confidently. Lave. Having completed the lesson, back of the card. At week 3 of growth number 24, Whiskers appeared to recall some information from a previous growth cycle. We cannot be sure that this was really the case. For all we know, what we interpreted as it recollecting this information was really it drawing semantic content from one of our recollections of it and redeploying it without rationality or contextualization. For the sake of our safety and for the sake of scientific inquiry, we are attempting to draw out from Whiskers whether it somehow retains knowledge from previous cycles in its morphologic nucleus. We did not think it was possible the nucleus, though complex and incredible in its regenerative abilities, was capable of this, and that the nerve network that grew from it made up the base of Whiskers' mind. And so we are now attempting to ask Whiskers, as best we can, if it has ever died, or what it might remember if it did. Alright, Grandpa, there's another word I gotta teach you. No, 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 no. Mouse. Like I said, like, for whatever reason when that's happening, my mouse will leave the, like, the game window, and then I can't control it. We are introducing the latest growth of Whiskers to move subtle social cues and testing its abilities to judge mental states of participants in conversation. We are introducing the latest growth of Whiskers to more subtle social cues and testing its ability to judge mental states of participants in conversation. I see. The semantic content that flows to Whiskers via its psi field is still becoming muddled and slipped without distinction into conversation, although our intention in instilling in it a solid theory of mind will perhaps make it begin to understand that we do not know what it knows, or know what we are, without our control sending to it. One would think a theory of mind seems to develop as part of its maturation process. In order to hunt sapient beings, it must be able to deceive them. In order to deceive it, must be able to make certain metacognitive judgments, for example, if their deception appears to be working, how one ought to be deceived. We may never see it develop a theory of mind anytime soon, as Dr. Hart has disallowed a cycle of Whiskers' growth to live into the beginnings of maturity. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. I don't think there's anything else for us to do. I mean, we can't find much more. So let's save the game and let's end the week. Weekly summary. Food acquired. I can feed it flesh. I don't want to. Documents acquired. Life indecision. Oh, dude. I forgot. You could talk to Grandpa, dude. Damn, we're really gonna have to do a lot of talking to Grandpa this week. The time I have to spend compiling an evaluation on Adrian is almost up, and I still can't say what to make of her changes in mood. It is of course the case that children of Adrian's age are nowhere near finished learning and growing. I may have to simply be happy that Adrian was able to improve her attitude. However, something in the odd and occasionally grotesque stories she continues to bring up to me still strike me as meaningful. How has your week been, Adrian? Grandpa's almost ready. He's almost finished. Well, sort of. Ah. He's almost as big as his shell now. He has a face and he can talk pretty well, and almost has legs. I see. As before, I have put down the story she told me as best as I could. Once again, Adrian told me about growing her grandpa. Alright, let's proceed with the trash pile cleanup. Bar soap. Is there anything else in here? Dude, there's more? Wait, there isn't one in here anymore. Okay. Interesting. Alright, so linguistics module meaning. Top drawer. Nothing in this one either. Bottom drawer, can't do anything. Another bulbous growth? I mean, I'll take the food in it, but I'm not gonna use it. Oh, fuck. Remnant 3. Already did everything here. Okay. Trash pile. Flatbread. So we found some bread. What else we got? Nothing. Mushroom. And symbol. So I think that's pretty much it. We found everything that there is. We still don't have a light, so we can't go that way. But something tells me we're gonna get one here soon. I'll save. But I do think I fucked up last time. Not talking to Grandpa. No response. So we have to feed him. Let's observe him. Fatigued and almost anemic. Some of its spines appear brittle. Perhaps it would be more cooperative if fed an iron-rich meal like meat. Fuck. No. We heard from the scientists that we can't do that. It's human-like. That's even worse. Let's leave. Because I forgot to go to the kitchen corner and search this stuff. Jackfruit. Apple. Nice. Alright, so let's prepare an apple with bar of soap. Nice, okay. So now we could make him vomit something. Let's look through these. Nothing in the first one. Nothing in the second one. Nothing in the third one. Alright, let's teach Grandpa some words. Meaning. Meaning. We further delve into abstraction with Whiskers, partially, or perhaps for the most part, for the purpose of determining the origin of its recollections that precede its death. Dr. Hart has begun to theorize that in the process of death, the structure of Whiskers is compressed back into the morpholactic nucleus, and then later, upon re-establishing the nerve netting that is laced throughout its spines, is slowly reassembled and redeployed as needed. I do not think this is the case, for I can plainly see that for growth cycles in which Whiskers is not receiving our pronunciation and vocabulary lessons, that its capacity general for comprehending its environment is greatly diminished. And in the simulated conversations we carry out, Whiskers struggles greatly or else does not participate. In any case, we will press on with our lessons and heed Dr. Hart's caution regarding terminating the growth cycle before Whiskers' allotted growth time passes, or if it appears to be becoming just a little too competent at appearing human. You step away from the bars and store the module card at the document table. So it's getting a little too advanced at this point, is what they're saying. It's picking up social cues, it's able to, I guess, mingle with the researchers to some capacity. Let's teach the word symbol. Get over there. There appears to be nothing written here, or if there was, it was thoroughly erased. Interesting. I'm kind of glad. Reading is hard. Alright, let's feed him. You will eat this soap. Alright, now I will feed you. I'm gonna feed you... And the bread is moldy and stiff? I don't want to give him that. I'll give him a mushroom. I'll give you a mushroom, some jackfruit. That sounds good, right? Yum, delicious. I've never had jackfruit, but I'm sure it's delicious. And this kiwi that you didn't care about. He wasn't too happy, so he slid back into his corner. Let's save the game and let's talk to Grandpa. Oh my god, a flashlight. Okay. Let's talk to Grandpa. Oh no, no communication? What about the mother doll? Nothing, huh? So it won't talk to me unless it's like happy. Bookshelf. Another paper doll. Discourse on the subordination of hidden beings. On the virtue of the prudent when dealing with devils, seen or unseen. The splendors and terrors of God's creations inhabit the world of both seen and unseen. And just as one will not grapple with a lion, lest they be a fool, one will not approach a being of the mind or ether without foreknowledge thereof. There are beings with no form, hiding between towering columns of air, and only appearing by slipping into the heart or mind of evil and unclean men. But still, are there more beings which straddle the realm between the seen and unseen creatures, feeling through the air to see the heart or mind of men. It is only by God's grace and his angels and servants crushing these beings under heel that a magician might compel them to the magician's will. And so a magician must be perfectly clear and unerring in intent and ritual granted to us by God, or else the devils, seen or unseen, will devour them, that being their nature. On the nourishing of devils of a particular type. Certain devils of a particular nature are nourished by the element of fire, others by attention and prayer given to their idols, still others by stranger and more obscure means. By God's grace, the requirement of for nourishing a devil as part of a contract only requires a token of these givings, that is, a symbol. If a devil hungers after flesh and would strip a man to his bones in its devouring, the devil's hunger in nature which thirsts for flesh can be held in abeyance in the ritual act of giving blood in only a few drops. However, the contract must be completed in full, for if the magician errs and does not provide in the devil instruction and guidance, the devil, once abjured to do no harm upon the magician, will return to its devouring nature. Makes sense to me. Basically, don't fuck around and find out. Do it right the first time. Oh, we have this code. 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, 5. The lid unlocks. With some effort, you move the heavy lid off the bin. Photo of your father as a young man. The recognition of this face kicks off a cascade of emotion and meaning deep within your psyche. That's my father? I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen him before. This is weird. Where do I go to, like, combine things again? Would it be here? I forgot where it is. Shouldn't it be here? Oh, it's glue. Here we go. Dad, paper doll 2, and a tangible symbol of intention and desire. Damn, look at Grandpa. He's dude looking pretty swole now. So he's not interested in either of these things. Is it because we haven't given him a taste of flesh? Is that why this is happening? If fed an iron-rich meal like meat. Like, we have to give him meat in order to really talk to him. But I feel like if we give him meat, like, people are gonna die, right? But I'm so curious. We have everything we need to control the demon, per se, right? So to speak. Damn, what should we do? I'm gonna take a sip while I think about it. We already taught him stuff, right? Yeah. We can't talk to him because he's anemic, this fucking guy. But we cannot... Let's go back and see what it said about feeding him meat. The keeper gestured towards a small bag where the food composted and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. It did not matter what it was fed. The act of feeding itself was what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act. However, he then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it. See, like, basically don't feed it meat. But this is if we want Grandpa to basically die, right? If we intend to not nurture it to completion. That's what's going on. Look, I want to know more. But I don't know. Alright, we'll just say this, okay? For the record, in real life, I would not feed Grandpa meat. Right now, though, I'm definitely going to do that. What if I just, like, kind of do this? I'm gonna put it back. Excited by the flesh smell and its cilia. What? No one can read that fast, Yames. And its cilia wave in frenzy. Like, he's ecstatic to have it. It's gross. Alright, you fuck. The meal appears to have been particularly well received. Your offering of flesh stirs something within Grandpa. From within the folds of its body, a wiry, proboscis-like appendage begins to emerge. It may be worth taking a look at this after the feeding. Knowledge you have recently acquired has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Proboscis. So he goes to his favorite corner. Alright, Grandpa. What the hell what happened here? You motion to Grandpa to approach and point to the thin protuberance. Grandpa silently ambles closer to the bars and fully extends it towards you. A minuscule needle extends from its tip. There appears to be one more thing you must give, if only for the sake of propriety. Propriety? Blood? I'm not sure what you want me to give you. I don't have what you need. Grandpa retracts his proboscis as you step further away from the bars. Alright, let's ask him about it. Maybe he'll tell us. The inner Grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. It may be fruitful to speak with it if it can respond. Damn, Grandpa, you look pretty aight. Do you have anything new to say about this stuff? Grandpa loudly clears its throat before gently responding in a lucid, well-projected voice. Ah, you're asking me about your wish? When you wished for me to come back, that's when I knew I would. Your desperation was strong, and your wish for your parents, well, if you give me what I want, I'll give you what you want. You know I love you. I am for you whatever you want, and I love you just as much as you love me. But desperation and love is not enough. People deep down know they can't get what they wish for without some transformation. There's something that sits at the root of everyone's soul that understands the separation between them and eternity. You may desire something, but you know you will not get it without some movement on your part. So it is not enough to just wish, which you know will not work. You must wish and a little more, to transform your intention into something that might fructify, or for desire to become reality. Let's ask about a shell, I guess. Ah, you're asking me about my shell. Oh, well, you see, I like to have something to grow in. Something shaped like a person. It just helps to have something surrounding me when I don't have skin. My whiskers do the growing. My whiskers? Yes, you know, the hairy little things. I am part of it, and it is part of me. However, my whiskers are what heard you wishing for me to come back, and so they went to work in the shell you provided. The shell also helps you envision me as what you desire. You have such a nice imagination. If I weren't in my shell, you'd have my whiskers exposed and knitting together my face. That might interrupt the feedback loop of my reading your desires. Yeah, because it'd look fucking crazy and gross. And then acting upon the desires I have read, and then once again reading your reaction. We wouldn't want that interfered with. The material of the doll you put down is good fit. It is not the most comfortable, but it is quite flexible, and thankfully my shell was able to adjust nicely to my growth. Ah, you're asking about the medical waste bin. I believe it's locked up. I heard them punch it in the code many times as they placed part of the burnt-up dying self into the bin. They often forgot what the code was and had to go check on the wall where they were always taping up sheets upon sheets of information, so much so that the new papers would cover the old. What do you think you would find in there? Well, perhaps something. They did throw trash inside from time to time, bits of paper and so forth. I remember seeing a man who looked quite like me. His daughter had given him a photo of her new boyfriend. He threw it into the bin in disgust and joked with one of his colleagues. It may still be in there for all I know. Ask about language. Ah, you're asking about language. Well, the more you taught me, the more I was able to learn myself by hearing what you are thinking and saying. A week ago, I could speak a little bit, but I was less of what you imagined me to be, and not quite the talker I am at the moment. Part of what I am saying is, of course, made up of what you expect me to say. I think I am very comfortable being open and honest with you because I am your grandpa and I love you. And certainly that makes up part of what I am. However, there is a part of me deeper down, the thing that created me maybe, that undying nucleus. It is answering for me as well, and is unaffected by whoever might shape what I become with their thoughts. Okay, that's scary. That means at any time it could pull the plug on you, right? And make you a murderous monster. Ah, you're asking about my little friends. Well, yes, they come from me. They grow around me in pockets of flesh and protoplasm. Think of them like dreams, maybe. I'll explain. Have you ever had a dream that was sort of like a bunch of people, places, and events you experienced, all mixed together and jumbled up? It's a sorting through and disposing of the refuse of the mind. My little friends are like that. Refuse. And in ridding myself of them, I'm casting off the excess material I did not use in developing life forms. Anyone who comes close to me, well, they are my eyes, my nose, my skin. Their thoughts become mine and shape what I make. However, when I was alone for so long, I didn't have a lot of people near me. What you are thinking and expecting of me is shaping what I'm saying, how I'm saying it. Do you understand? And so, because I did not have enough input from my surroundings in order to put the material to use, the material falls off my body, crawls away, and usually dies. I am able to make the most of my material when someone is looking right at me, projecting who I will be, like you are right now. What you are thinking and expecting of me is shaping what I'm saying, how I'm saying it. Do you understand? Jesus, okay. This is about the proboscis. Oh, you're asking me about my proboscis. It is just a little tube I keep to help me feed on blood. You could say it's my real mouth, but it's not really a mouth. It appeared because you fed me flesh, one of those little friends you found, I think. You feeding me flesh was a symbol, a proposition, if you will, that you wanted to hold up your end of the bargain with regards to your wish. If someone is willing to hold up their end of the bargain and let me feed on them with my proboscis, then they can move on to the next step of the agreement, providing me with symbolic instructions. I hope that clears things up. Oh, you have another question? Do I like the blood? Well, my whiskers, I believe they like the blood. And the flesh. It's strange. They are me, and yet they are now me. I am bound to them. They control me. And technically, yes, they did make me. However, you were the one who really grew me. In some ways, those whiskers, they are me, or a part of myself, or I am a part of it. That part is much more animal-like. Whatever might happen, know that I will always love you, and because it controls me, I might not be able to act how I would like, even if I do love you. See? Fuck. I need to find a way to give it blood. Content and ready to cooperate. Dude, how do I get blood? How can I hurt myself? I know what it wants, but I don't know how to give it to him. I want to give it blood, but I don't know how. Oh, there we go. That was really tight, though. Grandpa has appreciated your blood offering. It will receive a symbol or totem from you now, although only one per offering. As the blood-fed proboscis retracts back into the folds of fabric, you step away from the bars. Okay, so now we can give him these dolls. You approach the bars and hold out the mother symbol you created. Grandpa's spines quickly reach out and envelop the doll before drawing back. The doll quickly vanishes within the folds of Grandpa's skin. Constructing and then offering your mother's image to Grandpa, symbolically sated by blood, instills in you a concrete sense of completion. Grandpa gives a soft, affirming grunt as it senses deep within your mind the ritual transformation of your desires. Although Grandpa must receive both the mother and father totem before the fulfillment of your wish is assured. Okay, so we gotta wait a week. Let's save and let's end the week, I guess. Because we can't, it won't accept any more blood from us right now. Weekly summary. Week 5. I believe this is the final week. Who could that be? Come in. Ah, Adrian, good to see you. Aren't you a little early? No matter. I suppose I have some time now. How have you been? How's your grandpa doing? That's why I wanted to talk to you. Something happened. Oh, what happened? Nothing bad, I hope. No, nothing bad. Just different, I think. Maybe even good. Well, I'll tell you about it. Well, last night, something woke me up. There was this noise at first. It was like it came from the walls. I could hear it from my bedroom, but there was something else. Something calling. I could hear it just barely. I was afraid somehow Grandpa hurt himself. I had to go find out. I went downstairs in the vent, the place where I first found Grandpa, or what I grew him with. It was open. You remember how I told you about the vent in the ceiling behind the bars? I was thinking he had climbed up into it. He had gotten so big he could have done that. Maybe he had gotten trapped somehow in the vent. I had to go see. Oh shit. I got inside. I heard the calling again. More clearly this time. Grandpa was definitely in the vent somewhere. I could feel him hearing my thoughts. I got that weird feeling, a sense in the air. I had to go forward. Ugh. As I moved closer, the vent had stuff in it. The kind of slimy, hairy stuff that Grandpa would leave around a lot. He was definitely close. I don't like it. Something was there at the end. But it wasn't Grandpa. It looked like maybe he had made it, though. It was slumped in the corner. It had a weird mouth and it had its lungs on the outside and drew just enough air to call out. And then it just stopped. Stopped breathing. And then something was hanging over me. And then I woke up in my bed. In your bed? Adrian, it sounds like it was just a quite dreadful dream. Are you alright, by the way? Your face is twitching, like you're about to have a violent sneeze. I'm fine. It's just Grandpa, you see. It took me a little while to figure out, but later when I was brushing my teeth, I saw one of Grandpa's whiskers poking just out of the space under my eye. And I started to remember how in the vent he hid inside of me. It was so fast I could barely remember, but soon I started to feel him sliding around in my head, behind my forehead and behind my eyes and nose. It doesn't hurt at all, it's just ticklish. I'm glad I can be with him. Oh, I can feel him now. I think he wants to meet you. Part of him is moving down my arm. I'm starting to get worried, Adrian. You really should not be twitching like this. I should walk you to the nurse's office. Come on, let's go. You should really meet him. I've told you so much about him here. Ugh. What are you doing, Adrian? You're starting to look very ill. Please, just wait. Just stay still. He's gathering, waiting at my fingertips. Why do you look like that? You don't have to be afraid. Look. Loading? What? There are 2 endings in Growing My Grandpa. You got the failure of fulfillment ending. Dude, I knew I messed up the 3rd week. Because I wasn't able to give blood. But that's because the like hitbox for it was so weird. It was so weird. I like, you saw me clicking a million times. I couldn't get it. I couldn't feed him the blood. Look at all these people. Believing in Yames games. Can you believe it? Oh, there I am. All right, so we would continue from the 5th day, which is unfortunate. So I think we might actually have to start over. So let's go do that. All right, so I'm in week 3, I believe. I have some meat, so I'm going to give it to Grandpa. I have 2 of them. I've already taken care of the rest of the stuff, so between now and then I should be able to feed him and find all the dolls and stuff. So now I should be able to examine this, give some blood, and then tomorrow do the same thing. So I'm giving him the mother doll. The next week I should get the access to the biohazard code and the bookshelf. And that's what we're waiting on. So we're going to end the week. I'm not going to save from this point on, because I want to see what happens if you don't feed him meat at all. It says there's 2 endings, so I guess we'll see what ending we get when we don't give him any meat. And see what the differences are. Alright, so we have everything we need to finish off the game now. We already taught him everything. We're going to offer the doll now. You approach the bars and hold out the father symbol you created. The spines quickly grab it. Constructing and then offering your father's image to Grandpa, symbolically sated by blood, instills you a concrete sense of completion. Grandpa gives a soft, affirming grunt as it senses deep within your mind the ritual transformation of your desire. Although Grandpa must receive both a mother and father totem before the fulfillment of your wish is assured. Knowledge you recently acquired has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Completed contract, so let's go talk to him. Thank you so much for completing the contract. I'll definitely help you out with your parents. Just give me a little time and I'll be ready to act. I think you'll be very happy. Your grandpa's very happy too. You did it all by yourself, you know. I couldn't have helped you if I tried. I would have really not have liked to. Well, I did not want you to not complete the contract. I would have hated that. But do you understand why I would have had to? Maybe you don't. So much of your lives are made up, and yet what comes to pass was always once a fiction. You doubt yourself and your plans before they are even begun. And you believe what is in front of you as if the essence of things was not something you put there long ago. Too much doubt can suffocate even the surest thing. Only with patience and growth and nurturing does something become what it will be. And you soon shall see. Goodbye. Alright, I mean, there's not much else I can do here. I can observe him, I guess. Yeah, we're done. Oh, I overfed him, too. Alright, let's end the week. See what happens. Week 5. By the way, I did all that in like 15 minutes. I met with Adrian one final time in order to see if I could not reach some sort of resolution regarding her emotional trouble. In these past few weeks, according to the reports of her teachers and peers, she has shown a remarkable transformation in conduct. I would also add my voice to this consensus. It seems as if in our time together much has changed, for the better. I am not suggesting our meetings were the sole source of her sea change. I think something has happened in her home life that has reoriented Adrian completely. She seems to suggest as much, at least, in her usual esoteric way when we last spoke. Something tells me something may have changed with Grandpa. Yes, well, something did change. I will write down her words verbatim here. I went down the stairs like I always did, but I sort of felt like something was different. My parents weren't arguing, and I felt something had changed with Grandpa too. There was a weird noise, but I wasn't afraid. I think Grandpa had to leave, but before he left, he made my parents nice. He reached inside and changed them. That was my wish. Maybe even what I was growing wasn't really my grandpa. Grandpa left what I was growing behind. He is gone now. He moved quickly out to I don't know where, but I'll always love him. I dismissed Adrian soon after, letting her know it was a pleasure getting to know her. Despite my apprehensiveness about the speed of the turnaround she has made, I cannot see any reason why Adrian should be considered for further evaluation. And as a counselor for Adrian, let it be known that I believe she is of sound mental and emotional health. I am pleased to see things turn out this way, and if I may make a brief addendum. By happenstance, Mrs. Richardson bumped into the Hart family the other day while running an errand. She told me the parents were a little odd but very pleasant, and quite clearly they adored their child, and that she had never seen Adrian happier. A game by Yames. There are 2 endings in Growing My Grandpa. You got the fulfilled contract ending. So is that all the endings? Did we do it? Alright, we don't need to see my name again, even though I'm an executive producer. Look, I'm right there! Marky Mark. Alright guys, that was Growing My Grandpa, and holy fuck, I can feel it in my throat. I've done enough reading for a lifetime. So what did I think of Yames Games Growing My Grandpa? It's exactly what I wanted, really. I wanted something really fucking weird, something really far out there, and that's exactly what we got. I mean, when was the last time you heard or you played a game that involved growing some weird creature thing into a replica of your grandpa, and then you feed that grandpa your blood and various moldy pieces of bread, and then that grandpa goes on to murder your parents, but not before creating clones of them that treat you a lot better than your real parents, and that makes the child happy. When was the last time you played anything remotely like that? I can't think of anything. So, to me, this is an incredibly unique game. If there's anything that I just could not stand in this game that actually gave me a headache, is the soundtrack when picking up trash in the trash piles. That, like, incredibly super loud humming noise that just goes on and on and on while doing, like, a really repetitive, brainless task. I don't know, it just, like, it really, it attacked my temples in a way that I don't think a baseball bat could. And that's really the only negative thing I have to say about it. I knew going in that this was going to be like a note-heavy game, just because Yames games kind of are. They're like really dialogue and note-based, and that's how you get your story, really. Besides piecing, you know, all of it together yourself. So I don't mind that. The visuals, I think even Yames said it. He's like, I've never made anything this ambitious before. And I can see that when I compare it to the games that I have played of his, like The Well or whatever. This is definitely a step up in the visuals department, and I can see that Yames is really trying his absolute best here to give back to the Patreons. And I mean, I gotta say, if you like these games, you can support Yames for $1 and you'll get copies of his games. Otherwise, you could just pay him $6 when the games come out on itch.io or whatever. But $1, like, that's not bad at all. So you could be like me, an executive producer. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It means a lot. Thanks again for 300 subs. And please follow me on Twitch if you care about that cat-powered UFO stream that I'm planning on doing on maybe Monday. Yeah, take care of yourselves and bye-bye.